Today we're going to be building a DIY mid-century modern coffee table out of solid walnut on Modern Builds. First, I set up a stop block on my miter saw and I cut this 2-inch thick maple to size. Next, I cut some more pieces into squares, and these are going to be the spacers in between our slats. Once I knew everything was going to line up, I set my saw to 45 degrees and I cut this chamfer on the bottom of each of my slats. This is just aesthetic. I think it looks pretty cool. I'll be using a dowel that runs through each of my spacers and slats to secure all of my boards together and to help with alignment. This was one nice thing about the spacers being square. I didn't have to worry about which side was up, even though I always had the edge grain facing the tabletop. I know a lot of people don't have a drill press, but mine isn't expensive. It's under $100 and you can pick one up just like these from Home Depot or Harbor Freight. And this is a good time to mention, if you like DIYs like these, make sure and follow me, Modern Builds, for more. I mentioned earlier that I wanted edge grain facing up on my spacers, and so that meant I needed to attach each of my legs to the bottom of one of my spacers. And I used this doweling jig, so I had a secure connection. That was my final step before assembly, and I was careful not to use too much glue whenever I was attaching all of my pieces together. I knew the squeeze out on the end grain would be hard to clean, so I tried to minimize this as much as possible, even though I wish I did better. I do have to say though, this project was my funnest glue up or assembly that I have done. Everything went together so easily because my preparation was thorough. And while the glue was still wet, I did my best to clean up all of those outside corners with a pick and a hook. A quick pass with 80 grit on the belt sander did a good job to flush everything up and smooth everything out. And then I sanded everything up to 220 grit with my random orbit sander after I trimmed everything to length. Now that our top is complete, we can focus on the legs, and I used this Rockler taper jig to put a nice angle on the outside edges. I usually keep my tool palette really simple, so whenever I get to use jigs or tools like this, it's always a lot of fun. What makes this jig so great is the repeatability. After you set your angle, you just cut your piece and then clamp down the next one, and it's the exact same as the one before it. While I could still get to the bottom of the table, I stamped my name and the date on it and then went ahead and applied an oil finish. Make sure and check out Maker Brand Simple Finish. I really love the way the walnut grain popped, and then once that finish had a little bit of time to cure, I added some wood glue and dowels to the joints in my spacers and the end grain of my leg, and I clamped everything down overnight. So there you have it. I really hope you enjoyed this DIY mid-century modern coffee table build. Be sure to follow me, Modern Builds, for more DIYs like these.